Alright guys, Mr. Randall here again. Today's video, we're going to start off by talking about what a box and whisker plot is. We're going to use that then to jump into talking about what an interquartile range is. Do a couple examples. And then we will send you off to do this quizzes using that code. So let's jump into it. Interquartile range. Box and whisker. Box and whisker plot. Box and whisker plot. So, what we have is, let's just draw a line here. That line is going to represent our data set. So, for example, right here, this will be our min. Right here, that's going to be our max. So, between these, we could always find the median. Well, and if you look here, though, now, we have one side of each. Do we see that? One part's yellow, one part's purple. So, what we can do then from that is we could do the same process that how we found the median on each part. So right here, we could find a median for what is the yellow now. We are going to call that quartile 1. And you think about the word quartile, the word that I see and automatically is the word quart, as in quarter, right? And what is a quarter? It divides something into fourths. So, into fourths. Let's just keep that in mind moving forward. So, we are going to have something broken down into fourths. At least is what it sounds like. So, let's keep going. So I can find the quartile, the first quartile here from the yellow. The median of the yellow is the quartile 1. Well, I could do the same thing for the purple as well. We're going to call that quartile 3. Because if you think about it, right here we could call quartile 2. So we go left to right, quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3. Well, now if I look at that, I just make this maybe a little prettier. Right here then, I will have something that will look like this. This, right here, looking at, if we read it left to right, we'll have the minimum, quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, and the maximum. The part that I'm coloring in right here, wow, it's weird how you can get some fancy colors just from coloring all this in. So, color in this box here, which is the box, while the remaining little yellow and purple part is the whiskers. So we'll make sure they're represented here. Box and whisker plot. So right here, this purple, or the now blue part, represents the middle 50%. So we'll put a 50 in right here. Middle half of the data. And if you look, how we talked about fourths, well here I can see, I'll just mark these off. 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. So the interquartile range then, under my assumption, or under just dissecting the word, is going to have to do something with the middle quartiles. Okay? So, let's jump into it. This is what a box and whisker plot is. I have some good memes here. For example, Whisker's the cat, he's in a box. So he's a box and whisker plot. So, as we went over, quartile 3 is the middle of the data between the median and maximum. It's right here. So looking right here, that is the middle of between this part. Okay. Quartile 1, the middle of the data between the minimum and the median. So we're talking right here now. Okay. So we have these definitions down now. The interquartile range, or IQR, is quartile 3 minus quartile 1. Take their numbers, subtract them. So now we're going to, we look at this example. We have the IQR if, so let's just take out the important stuff. We want our Q3 or Q1. So Q3, Q1, do Q3, which is 17, minus Q1, which is 6, and we'll get then 11 for our IQR, interquartile range. So again, what we did is we broke, look at, right here you were just given the data. But we're going to have to break it down to find the median, and then the median of the two parts that are left over. So let's take a look at this example then. Well, nice enough, this is in numerical order. So if you want to draw a box and whisker plot like that every time, if that helps you, do it. Or what we can just do is look at this. We'll have, I'll draw one out for you guys. So right here, I see that the min is 1. The maximum is 18. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put dots over them so I can still see the numbers, but we're going to cancel out the 1 and the 18 now. The 2 and the 17, 5 and 16, 7 and 13, 8 and 12, which leaves us with 9 in the middle. So 9 is our median, right in the middle of that data. But now what we have is, I'll cross this guy out now. What we have now is a kind of two data sets. We have the data set in the yellow, data set in the pink. So let's find the data set for each. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel them out again, starting with the yellow data set. It looks like the middle of this is 5. Okay. And again, we're looking for the interquartile range, so we need every part. So now that I canceled these out, it looks like the middle right here, middle that will be our quartile 3 is 16. So we can make it look a little prettier. What color do we want to color in our, you know what, I've never used green. Let's use some green. So right here we made a box and whisker plot. And also, if you didn't notice the meme I have up in the top right corner with Rodney Rich in the box, and I drew him a couple whiskers just to show that this is a box and whisker plot. So if you guys want, I'll give you about 5 seconds to leave the video if that joke was too bad for you. Okay, so back to this. The green is the interquartile part. The middle 50, as you remember it. Middle 50. So let's put 50% here. 50% of the data set is represented in the green here. And now, what we just do is we do Q3 minus Q1, 16 minus 5, and we'll get 11. So our answer is 11. Now looking at this, you are to find every part. So we're going to find the max, min, median, Q1, Q3, interquartile range. So let's take a look. Well, to find the median, we always need to put it in number order. So let's go ahead and do that. Smallest number I see is a 1. Cancel them out. I see 2 3s. I see a 4, a 5, a 7, a 10, 11, okay, and then a 12 I see, 15, and then 19, 20. So here's our data set. So looking at this now, we can, oh, I don't want to move that entire thing. So, give us a little bit more room maybe. Okay. So looking at this, I'm going to find the median now. So again, I'm going to highlight them just to show that it canceled so I don't have to reorganize them. So 1 and 20 cancel, 3 and 19, 3 and 15, 4 and 12, 5 and 11. And we got to find the average between what is 7 and 10. And so I know the difference between them is 3, cut 3 in half, be 1.5. So 7 plus 1.5. Our median is going to be 8.5. Oh, didn't mean to do that to the little pupper there. 8.5. Okay. Well, I also know that the max is 20, because 20 is the largest number. So we'll put our little beagle friend over here. The minimum has to be 1. Okay. But now what we have is the way that I will want you guys to think about it is right now we have just a line separating these two. So again, we can have the yellow data set over here and the pink data set over here, if my pen wants to work. Pink data set right here. So then what we can do is find the median, or what will be our Q1 and Q3. So let's go ahead and start canceling these out. Okay, well, 3 and 4, I can't cancel anything more. So the difference is 1. Divide that in 2. I'll have 3.5 for my Q1. Yep. And then Q3, why don't we 10, 20 cancels, 11 and 19, 12 and 15. Again, that's a difference of 3. Cut that in half, will be 1.5. So I'll add 1.5 to 12, and I'll have 13 and a half. Okay, so 13 and a half. Well, now what we have to do is take our Q3, or Q3 minus Q1, so 13 and a half minus 3.5. And looking at that on the top of my head, I can tell you that that's 10. So our answer for interquartile range is 10. And that is pretty much what we'll cover in statistics. These medians, this median will help you find the middle. The Q1 and Q3 will help you cover what is really holding in the middle 50% of a data set. And these maximums are always nice to really see the full range of everything we're doing. So make sure we go back and do this quizzes with this code. It is a sign, so it should be open. Okay. Other than that, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week.